Hello everyone, I am making a video today that I've been planning to make since I got back from my vacation, so several months in the making. Today I'm going to be reviewing a philosophy by an hero of the internets. No, not really of the internets, he's not really that well known. It's this guy right here. He is the CEO of this Cold Steel knife company. I got this when I went to Smoky Mountain Knife Works and got my Wolverine claws. I'd seen this video on YouTube before. He's got this video, it's called Lynn Thompson, that's his name, Cold Steel Life on the Edge. And he just basically goes through and talks about living his life as a warrior and all this different stuff. So I'm going to watch this video. And I remember the last time I watched it, I thought I agreed with about half of the stuff he said, and the other half was just retarded, lunatic kind of stuff. So I'm going to go through and watch it and talk about it. And then I'll just edit out the good parts, I guess, because it's like 10 minutes long. And hopefully it won't be like a copyright deal because, I don't know, he hasn't made a video in like a year or two, I don't think, so he might not give a shit. Yeah, here's a little clip of one of his sword videos. This is the Great Sword. He has like every melee kind of weapon, knives, axes, swords, hammers, maces, bats. And he pretty much tests them all out, and he does like knife fighting tutorials and all kinds of crazy shit. And this one is like a great sword, and he kind of makes it sound like you would need one ever in your life, which is not true because I have swords and I've never had a use for them. Maybe if I was going fishing and there's like a giant, like a field full of big weeds I had to hack through, it could be used as a machete. But you're not going to need a fucking great sword unless you're cutting cows' heads off for fun. I don't see a use for it. So I don't even know what's on this DVD. I'm going to have to check that out after I watch this 10-minute video and splice that in too. So,
our two-handed great sword is the biggest sword we make. But don't let its size fool you, as there's nothing awkward or clumsy about this awesome sword. Sure, it's big and meant to be carried over the shoulder in a scabbard instead of on a belt or baldric. But it's extremely well balanced and
meant to be carried over your shoulder in a scabbard.
Stature and physical strength.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The sword world continues to overlook, in my opinion, the efficiency and power.
This video is just weird because he's always wearing like an expensive suit, and he always holds it like that to show it off, you know, and then he'll, after he does like a big slash or whatever, he'll look at the camera and just like pose with it.
Flick, flick, flick. And up comes a part, 20 pounds of beef.
See, he's changed his expensive suit into a different suit. It's like, oh, we gotta do the wood test. Give me my red shirt. Now this is like, look at him, he's getting ready. He's thinking about it. It just looks funny to me. Why would you need to cut copper pipe with a fucking sword? It's like all those the Ginsu knife commercials. They used to cut shoes in tin cans. Like, why would you need that? I want to see how it does against a pig that's charging at you and not sitting still at chest height. Stop telling me that. I don't know why you need to cut those, but...
Great sword is way underappreciated, in my opinion. A big sword like this can make it look easy to make that difficult cut.
When are you making difficult cuts in your life? Unless you're in Africa or some country where you're fighting off lions and tigers all day. And then even then you would want a gun, not a sword. Apparently all this meat that they cut is carefully preserved and used to feed homeless people. Uh-oh. Not 2, but 3 turns to take this slab of beef down. It doesn't even look like beef. It looks like some kind of rhinoceros. Or some kind of animal. Pose time. They put meat in the boots. That's gross. Some homeless guy ate meat that's been in the old boots.
I love that ching. Look how thick that comb is on that bamboo. 3/8 of an inch thick, easy. Even thicker here. It's no match for the greatsword, though.
That was kind of a windmill attack. This guy's like a dwarf warrior. What the fuck? If it can cut through fucking metal and shit, I'm sure it can pop a goddamn balloon. It's like a big bone. But can it decapitate a giraffe? That's what I really need. I need a sword that can decapitate a giraffe. I can see maybe poking a bunch of gasoline barrels and letting it come out and then like flicking your sword on the ground, making a spark and lighting it.
That was absolutely
really roundabout way of
if you're
making
strong enough to wield
fire,
a
but
sword, it's an enormous advantage in any fight.
Vicarious.
This thing is a room wrecker, a yard wrecker, a street wrecker. It's just unbelievable, the cutting power.
When were you gonna wreck somebody's yard with a great sword? You'd be on the fucking news. It'll be the biggest news event ever. There was a samurai guy in one video I saw that, like, they hosed him down with a SWAT truck or something. Some crazy black dude. Enough for the meat. It can cut meat. We've established that. It does love some nice ribs though. That's like big rope that they use to moor ships and stuff. 3-inch blue rope. Made out of polyethylene fibers. Nice, impressive, but can you jab it through a car door? That's what I need to know. Don't really need an ice pick. I could just buy an ice pick. What I need is something that could take out 30 kindergartners with one swing. Do you have an example of like 30 pigs or something that I could slash around in a circle while I'm fighting the entire kindergarten class?
This is why you buy a great sword, because you can make those huge cuts through flesh and bone like that. Man, that thing just sailed through this big, thick piglet leg. You hear that bone crunch?
Why would I need to buy it then? I'm never cutting through people's arms.
And you're going to be a power to reckon with. No one is going to be able to take advantage of you when you have a great sword in your house built by cold steel.
They can shoot you with a fucking gun. They actually have a car hood. Okay.
That's what a great sword's all about.
What? They didn't make great swords back in the fucking medieval times to fucking slash through car hoods.
What more do you want from a sword?
I guess they had shields, but they were mostly wooden.
Stabs,
Bronze.
hacks, crushes, breaks, and you could throw it through darn near anything.
So reminds me of Deadliest Weapon, or
How do you beat that?
Deadliest Warrior.
Tremendous reach, throws straight as an arrow, cuts an enormous flippin' hole. What more can I do to convince you to buy a great sword?
Tell me why I would need a great sword.
Don't be ripped off
That
by
would
my
convince me.
competitors selling you absolute junk that'll break in half and hurt you. Hey, spend the money.
See, my sword is crappy. It would probably break in half and hurt me if I was fucking using it.
You'll praise my name. You're gonna love this sword.
It's just for looks. I don't need an actual great sword. Now I will begin watching the philosophy of Lynn Thompson.
You're high, about 2 inches. High and to the right. Hit it.
My name is Lynn Thompson. I'm the president of Cold Steel Incorporated. We make the world's strongest, sharpest knives and swords and edged weapons and tools. We're a martial company, and I live a martial life. I try to live as a warrior. I train and practice to use all types of weapons, including empty hands all the way up to the latest in firearms, to defend myself, my family, my community, and my nation. And I make no apology for it.
One of the heroes is King David. He's the only man in the Bible that God said was a man after his own heart, but he was a man of the sword, and he was a warrior. And of all the people in the Bible, who did God say? There's only one man. He says, that's a man after my own heart, the Lord said, and that was David. Hey, anybody
David
that
was
knocks somebody
like
down the way
a
that's
slingshot
9.5
user
tall,
who
probably
didn't want to
500
go into
pounds,
battle, and he did
knocks him
anyway
down, runs
because
up,
he
cuts
was
the head off
needed
with
or
a sword.
something.
He's my kind of guy. The
And if he
warrior
trains as a warrior, why is he so
constantly
fat?
So that he can defend himself, and
I had an
that's
uncle that was
sadly
fat, but he was also
lacking.
really
Everyone
muscular.
wants to call security. Everyone wants to depend on the police to do it. I think people should be responsible for themselves, especially in self-defense. The Bible says when an armed man, fully armed, sits alert in his house, ready to defend it, no thief wants to break in. And so I say the same thing. If you're a warrior, or who wants to mess with your family? Who wants to mess with your community? Who wants to mess with your country? See how lightning that is? It's flipping horrible feeling.
I guess he has a point there. I mean, if you make it known that you're a
Forge a
badass,
strong sword.
you'd be less likely to have people come in on your
If I want to be a
house
strong
and try
sword,
to rob you and
I
shit.
get people that are better than I am.
Kind of like the peacock or something that has like
occasion.
makes itself look bigger, puffs itself up like a pufferfish to ward enemies away. It's a good philosophy, I guess. When you see him in these videos with the greatsword, he's not that agile. Like he seems awkward
The
with
really,
it.
really big opponent. So when you're giving up a lot of reach, a lot of height, a lot of weight, a lot of strength, your skill has to be exponential in comparison to that antagonist. So that's where weapons come in. The weapon negates all of that physical advantages. I mean, God bless some people with some physical advantages and some with others with none. Is that fair that the person with no physical advantages has to be the whipping boy, the dog, of the bigger, stronger, younger, heavier individual? No. That's what we learn how to make knives and swords and then pistols and all that stuff.
He almost said we learned how God gave us knives and swords and pistols. And he's like, wait a minute, we did that. No, that wasn't good.
I've always admired the ancient warrior. My goal is to obtain those same skill at arms and have the same physical abilities as the heroes of old. People ask me why I hunt, and particularly why I hunt with a handgun or a spear or a knife. Why do I put myself in such danger? I think it's important for a warrior to test themselves. It's not a very good idea to have to use deadly force and never done it before. I test my training with hunting dangerous game. I test my own internal fortitude, my spirit, my temperament, my nerves. They're all tested by these big game hunting trips.
I've killed Danger 7.
He killed a fucking giraffe. Are you kidding me?
An elephant, a hippo, a crocodile, a Cape buffalo, a lion, and a leopard.
One of the opportunities that you get in hunting is you get experience with killing, and you learn how to kill and not have your emotions take over and destroy you.
As my skill has grown, the professional hunters, they know me and they go, they don't get me closer. This is how you can make it from here. So it just gets more and more challenging. And some of the places I hunt, you can't get close. So I would say my average shot is probably somewhere between 60 and 100 meters. But my furthest shot on game is 158 meters.
What was that?
A kudu.
Pistol?
For the pistol. Not very many people could do that, huh, Robert?
Offhand.
Not offhand, baby. Who wants to go out there and make fun of me? This is a 12-inch plate. This knife blade is 10.5 inches long.
He just happened to have a Bowie knife.
Just give you some perspective, that's what I'm hitting. And you can see where my bullets have been smacking it. I'm the only one shooting at it really this morning. Pretty darn good shooting, I'm pretty happy with that.
It's like, come on guys, get a shot of me walking by my ZR1 Corvette.
No, I probably didn't start training with weapons a lot until 1978. 77, 78, I read John Sanchez's book, Slash and Thrust. I hunt with a spear because it's a real challenge compared to bow hunting or handgun hunting. I think it's next to using knives, it's about as dangerous as it gets. There we go.
I can see the appeal of using a spear, but it'll just look retarded if you're on like TNN outdoors, whitetail hunting, and you throw a spear. And everybody else has all this
I've had a lot of heat
gear
pressure
and
since I was a small child.
stands.
13,
You're just
my dad got a
like
brain
hiding
tumor,
and throw
and
a
I was
fucking
on my own.
spear
I
like a
provided
spear
myself
chucker.
with all my own clothes, and
That's
a
not
lot of my
to be
own
racist.
expenses I took care of myself. I put myself through private universities with my own funds. I worked for it. I saved for it, and I overcame a lot, and that's really helped me in life.
I guess part of the reason I started at such an early age is, look at me. I'm not skinny, you know? I was always a chubby kid, and everyone picked on me. I mean, I got hassled, and people tried to pick fights with me and called names and all this stuff. And at a very early age, I started fighting back. I said, I'm not going to take it anymore.
People will make fun of Lynn because he's aggressive and whatever else, or like you say, you're not Mr. Body Beautiful, but in front of his face, they don't say nothing. And that's what I respect. Let him say, you know, it's really easy to say stuff behind somebody's back, but to his face, it's like, how you doing, Lynn? You know, and you know it's the same guy who's just saying, he ain't shit, he can't do nothing. And you know that's a lot of squat.
Look at those 5-pound weights.
So hard.
Well, I guess if you're throwing punches, you need like a lighter.
By boasting that to be genuine. Most people talk and talk and talk, but their abilities don't even begin to match the brags that they made. So my drive is constantly to be everything I say I am. Do I make sacrifices? Absolutely.
He's getting his jacking motion, working those muscles for jacking it.
She said,
If he had an
I know
elephant.
you're dead tired, Lynn. Why don't you stay home today? And I said, I made my brag. Now I have to back it up. I said I have to be what I say I am. As I've said before, I'm not humble, but I don't have a stingy bone in my body. I'll give you the shirt off my back. But I try to be everything I say I am.
I would rather you
I
just
talk
keep
a
the
lot
shirt
about
on.
myself, but I try to make sure it's true. To me, it's not bragging if it's true. Someone could say, yeah, that guy talks a lot about himself, but everything he says is true. Okay, that's fair enough in my book.
A number of years ago, I heard a radio program where they were talking about people in the future are going to live their lives vicariously. They're going to enjoy other people's adventures and other people's accomplishments from the safety of their own home, watching them on DVDs and video programs and television. And I thought, how sad. Those people will never have adventures. They'll never do anything on their own. They'll never taste victory, and they'll never eat the bitter pill of defeat. They're never going to risk their ass to get ass. I decided I didn't want to live my life like that. I wasn't going to live life vicariously. I was going to go out and do things for myself. I believe in being an individual. I don't believe in group effort. I think everyone should shine for themselves.
This was the part I didn't agree with, because
I want my own,
it sounds as if he's never played really good video games
so
so he can live vicariously without all the risk
I want to either
and
be able to
money
brag, or I
investment
want to be
into
able to
buying
assault. One of the
swords that you're never going to use
I think
in real life,
today,
other than
wherever
like
you
practicing.
live, should ascribe to be a warrior. So if the shit hits the fan, they're a soldier that can fill the gap in the wall and protect their family and their community and their country.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I thought it was about 50% that I disagreed with it. It's basically just the last part, I guess, about the vicarious living thing, and I don't know, like, I don't feel the need that you actually need to go out and kill animals if they have games where you can simulate it. I mean, unless you wanted to have meat, you need the food, or like you had to survive, but I don't know, this guy's just, I really want to see what's on this video, because, what is there, 2 DVDs in this? It includes Life on the Edge. Oh, that's what we just watched. Okay. And this one has 625 Magnum blowguns, Inferno pepper spray, and spears in action. So this one will probably have him throwing some spears. Why do you need a whole DVD for a 10-minute video anyway? Oh, so the Absolute Proof DVD. It's mainly just them testing out various weapons, showing how the lock mechanism is good, and how it can be used to slice through stuff, and just demonstrations. It's not like a lot of him talking about philosophy or why you need to be a warrior to live life. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't hurt to be trained in every kind of martial art and knife fighting. You never know. Somebody breaks into your house, or fucking Koreans invade America. You gotta be prepared for every situation. Up to it, including zombie invasions. I did think it was funny that it's called Absolute Proof, which is the one thing we know doesn't exist, because you can't absolutely prove anything. I thought I was going to be able to make fun of it a lot more than I did.